Hey kids, Dad here. It is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026, 12:50 p.m. Just got back in from a nice, brisk, short little 4-mile run in 40 minutes and 8 seconds. Felt good after running that marathon 2 days ago, well, half marathon 2 days ago. Just getting out doing 4 miles. Felt nice. Body's feeling, well, we'll just say my body's felt worse. Gratitude though, gratitude series. Fun one, next on my list. I'm just continuing sequentially here. So last I talked about how I got in a Christmas tree from a friend named Sheila. And I had your gifts underneath that tree in fall, going into winter of 2023. My next entry is kind of a unique one. I have the 15th entry on the date of 11/25/2023. So Thanksgiving of 2023. This is 2.5 years ago. I just have for the name Vetsgiving. VETS giving. So Thanksgiving, Vetsgiving. So what had happened is, you kids may recall, I had to leave the family home there in September. And by the end of September, I'm falling apart, right? I'm in a dark, isolated, lonely, depressed place. In October, it's more of the same. But some people had come by and inspired me by bringing me some furnishings, just some basic fundamentals, the things we all take for granted every day. And in October, I started doing jiu-jitsu. Coach Fabio got me down to his gym, had me going down there routinely. And by November, first week in November, second week in November, I was looking at Thanksgiving and going into the holiday season. And what the heck, Grandma Tracy, Grandpa Kevin, they're out in Nevada. Aunt Kelsey, she's out in California. Uncle Juan, Cousin Lewin, they're all out in California. So what am I going to do for Thanksgiving? What am I going to do over the holidays? I don't know. I'm used to spending Thanksgiving with you kids. Typically, Mom was working, and we'd have a little family day, the four of us. And I remember one year we went and got Kentucky Fried Chicken because it was the only place that was open. And then we typically do that Friday at Grammy's house for Thanksgiving, right? Well, in 2023, November, I had that apartment by myself. But I had this kitchen table with 6 chairs around it. I had a living room couch, 2 chairs in the living room. I had a kitchen full of cooking supplies, utensils. So I thought, well, as you kids know, Dad's not a great cook, but I was able to pull together about $130. And that was exactly what it cost at Hy-Vee to get a big pre-cooked box that would serve 12. Came with a turkey, sides, stuffing, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, dinner rolls, cranberry sauce. Even came with like 2 pumpkin pies. It's a big pre-cooked box you pick up the morning of. And then you just throw it in the oven, follow the instructions they give you, and boom, you got a big Thanksgiving dinner. I thought I'd do that. But the second week in November, I started reaching out around the Twin Cities to people. I started looking for what I called misfit toys. Veterans who didn't have any family to spend Thanksgiving with. And I'd be out at the Legion, out at the bar, at jiu-jitsu, wherever I was going. People were talking about Thanksgiving coming up. And I'd always say, hey, if you know anybody who doesn't have anywhere to go on Thanksgiving, give them my name, give them my number. I'd love to have them over at my apartment. It's a lesson that Jim Keeler taught me when he took me into his family Thanksgiving. When I first got out of the Army, didn't have any place to go. Well, it turns out there's a kid named Dan Gould. His nickname is Silver. He lives in Eagan. He's a Navy vet. He had nowhere to go on Thanksgiving. So he agreed to come over. Then we had a gal named Jessica over in Shakopee. She was an Army gal. She had no family, single mom, no place to go. So I invited her over. There's a kid named Marcus, kid from Florida. He was sleeping in his car in the Walmart parking lot. He He was a third special forces group guy. Well, your dad was 7th Special Forces Group. Third group was just across the street. I didn't know him in the military, but he was a little bit younger than me, but he was that same Special Forces community family. Sleeping in a damn Walmart parking lot in his car. Up here for work, but he didn't have any money for an apartment yet. Because he'd been homeless down in Florida, he came up here because he found a job up here. So you damn right. Dad had Marcus come over for Thanksgiving. And Kayla wasn't a vet, but Kayla was a single mom in Egan who didn't have any place to go. So I told her, dang it, you're coming over. You're going to have Thanksgiving with me and 3 other vets, and we're going to have a bunch of turkey I've got. We're going to have a big meal. We're going to watch some football. We're going to have a bottle or 2 of wine, have some laughs, make the best of it. And that's exactly what happened. I remember I went and picked up the stuff from Hy-Vee around like 8, 9 a.m. And I got it all set up in the kitchen. I set up the instructions, and I made a little cheat sheet so I knew what time of day to put everything into the oven and this and that, so it'd all be ready at the same time. And about noon, people started trickling over. By 1 o'clock, I got an apartment with 4 people in it. There's 5 of us. People are laughing and smiling, getting to know each other. And then everybody kind of jumped in, did a little something. You know, Dan was cutting the turkey up because he's pretty good at cutting turkey. And, I think Jessica was topping off people's wine glasses. And, Marcus and Kayla were just a hoot, telling jokes and sharing stories. And we all had a meal. We were all able to sit around the table together. And by 4 or 5 o'clock, we kind of wrapped things up. And I insisted, no, I got to clean up. And people hung out for another hour or 2. And then we all kind of went about our evenings. But the cool thing was that I was not alone that Thanksgiving. And I was able to find some other people who maybe would have been alone. And I invited them over. And a couple of them kind of knew each other, but a couple of them barely even knew me. They just had the courage to come and join us. And that made for a pretty special Thanksgiving. Would have been more special with you kids. I missed you kids immensely. I sat there that night and I looked at that Christmas tree that I already had set up. And I looked at the empty table, the rest of the empty apartment. And I don't know if I was praying yet. I definitely wasn't praying yet formally, but I was definitely thinking about you kids that night. And I'm grateful for each of those people. Silver, Marcus, Jessica, Kayla, for coming over and keeping me company, joining me at my table that Thanksgiving. And I'm grateful that I was able to maybe have been able to give them a little something better to do than sitting at home all day, having a lonely Thanksgiving themselves. So anyhow, it's what we do, kids. It's what we do. It'd take a couple years. You have to fast forward about a year and a month for me to recognize through a 12-step program that putting others before yourself, selfless service, being of use to others, I would come to learn that is my primary purpose in life now. But even back then, all that pain, all that depression, all that sadness, all that loneliness, I still had that instinct in me somehow. So, I don't know, it's funny reflecting back. But today's gratitude, Vetsgiving 2023. Pretty cool moment. And tried to pay that tradition forward, keep that going every year since. So, anyhow, love you kids. Grateful for you kids. Hope you have a wonderful last week of school here, first week of June. Love you kids. Talk soon.